everyone, welcome back to another video. If you're new here, my name's Emma, and if you're not new here, in today's video we're going to be doing another TBR jar, or I guess I should say TBR bag picks my next reads. This little bag is full of tons of prompts, and I actually just like redid the prompts and put new ones in there, so I'm really excited to see what we're gonna get. I'm gonna be drawing 6 prompts and then finding books that correlate with them, and those will be the books I read in the month of February. Our first prompt is a book that you purchased in person. This is perfect because I've bought a lot of new books recently. Prompt number 2 is a book set in a city. Prompt number 3 is your dad picks. This is actually so funny because my dad and I were just talking about how he wants me to read this series he's been getting into, so I'm gonna text him to confirm that that's what he wants me to read, but I think I already know what he's gonna pick because he's been wanting me to read it for a very long time. Prompt number 4 is has a great first sentence. I really like this prompt because it kind of lets me choose what I'm gonna read. Like, I'll probably pull a few that I've been interested in starting and read the first sentence out of all of them and see which one is the most intriguing. Prompt number 5. Oh, I accidentally just grabbed 2 prompts, so these are gonna be prompts 5 and 6. We have a 5-word title. I definitely have a lot of options for this. And then our last prompt is fits the current season. Ooh, this is perfect because it's winter right now, and where I live, we've been getting a lot of snow. So maybe I can find a very wintry atmospheric book. To quickly recap the prompts in no particular order, we have a book purchased in person, a book set in a city, a book that my dad picks, a book with a great first sentence, a book with a 5-word title, and a book that fits the current season. I'm gonna go pull some options and we'll go through and decide together. I have now pulled a bunch of different options for all of the prompts off of my shelves. I am gonna go ahead and start with the prompt for dad picks because I do know what book he's going to choose, and it's the Silo series, but I kind of don't think the first book is called Silo. I know there's a TV show based on it that's called Silo, but part of me thinks Silo is the name of the second book. I don't know, but I will put a picture of it somewhere on the screen because I just texted him to ask what the name of the first book is and what the name of the series is. And my dad usually only reads nonfiction, so our tastes in books do not overlap often, but this series he really enjoyed is like a dystopian sci-fi type of series, and I love dystopian, and I've been wanting to dive more into sci-fi ever since I read Red Rising, so I feel like this is a really good one, and I'm excited to see what I think, and hopefully I like it as much as he does so we can chat about it after. Next, I'm gonna pick for the prompt that says fits the current season, and since it's winter and it's chilly and snowy outside, I was definitely looking for options that have a atmospheric wintry setting to them, and I really only found 2 options that I feel like truly are gonna give me that wintry vibe. And the first option is Omen of Ice by Just Accardo. I actually got sent this in PR a while ago and never got around to picking it up, and to be honest, I don't really know much about it, but judging by the cover, you can tell that this is going to be a wintry book, and it literally has the word ice. I do think this is a fantasy. I'm not sure if there's romance. I don't know if it's YA or adult, but the first sentence on the back says, "The Winter Fae have been without magic for over 1,000 years." So sounds like our main group of characters are referred to as Winter Fae, so I feel like that definitely fits this prompt. The next option I'm considering for this prompt is Baggage Claim by Juliana Smith. If you watched my December TBR video, you probably saw that this almost ended up on that list, but I went with another book instead. In that video, I talked about how I think this might take place over the holidays, but it's not like a holiday themed book. I do know that it's a contemporary romance and maybe they meet on a plane or something like that, but the cover depicts a lot of skiing scenery with lots of snow, so obviously this is going to be an atmospheric wintry book. I feel like it's really hard to choose between these two because they're both wintry, but they both sound so different, and I'm not really sure what I'm in the mood for. Omen of Ice is something I've been meaning to get around to for a while, and now after reading the back, I'm even more intrigued to read it, but at the same time, I am in the mood for romances since it is around Valentine's Day. So I think I'm gonna go with Baggage Claim, but I'm glad that this prompt put Omen of Ice on my radar because I haven't thought about it in a while, and I feel like now this is gonna be like in my mind as a book I want to read, and who knows, maybe I'll get around to both of them, but for the prompt I am gonna choose Baggage Claim. The next prompt is a book set in a city, and I'm sure I have lots of books that are set in a city, but I feel like for this prompt it needs to be a big city like New York City or something. So honestly, I just started pulling books from my shelves and like reading the back, and I feel like if the city is a prevalent part of a book, it's probably gonna say it on the back. And the first one I came across is The Boyfriend by Frida McFadden, and literally within the first sentence of the description it mentions New York City, so I just like felt like that was a sign that I needed to choose this one. I've read a few other books by Frida McFadden and I absolutely love them every single time just because they're so intense and they have the craziest plot twists. I don't know much of what this one's about, but I kind of think I want to go in blind because I have heard some mixed reviews on this one. Some people are saying it doesn't live up to the hype of her other books, but then I've also heard a lot of people saying this is their favorite one. This is her newest release, and I chose it as a Book of the Month box pick a while back, and it's just been sitting on my shelves, so I feel like since I have the prompt and it mentions New York in the description, I have to read it this month. This is an adult thriller, by the way. The next prompt to choose for is a book you purchased in person, and I intentionally put this prompt in my TBR bag because I do a lot of my book shopping online on Amazon, but honestly nothing beats going in person to a bookstore and choosing books out. I just grabbed two options from my shelves that are books that I've been really wanting to get to lately. I have plenty more that I purchased in person, but these are just two kind of on the forefront of my mind right now. The first one is A Dawn of Onyx by Kate Golden. I know this is an adult fantasy romance, and I've been hearing amazing things about it, and everyone's been raving about, I think, the second book in particular, so it's really made me want to get to this because I've been looking for a new really good fantasy romance series that I can become obsessed with. I actually bought this super recently, like 2 weeks ago, and I do have a January book haul video coming out very soon where I talk about this book and tons of others that I bought in the month of January, so stay tuned for when that video gets posted. But my other option is Addicted to You by Krista and Becca Ritchie, and this series is on my list of 25 books to read in 2025. I'll put the link to the video where I talk about that somewhere up here if you want to go watch what my 25 priority books and series are for the year. But since it is on that list, I'm gonna have to get to this at some point in 2025, and it's a romance, so I guess it kind of makes sense for February, but also I don't know if I'm mentally ready to handle this series. So I think I'm gonna go with A Dawn of Onyx just because I feel like this is gonna be a big commitment when I do start this series and I'm not quite ready for it. But I will be getting to this at some point in 2025, but not in the month of February. Instead, we're gonna go with The Dawn of Onyx, and I really don't know much about it other than it's a fantasy romance and people rave about how good it is. The next prompt I'm choosing for is a book with a 5-word title, and I have a ton of these on my shelf, so instead of pulling literally every option, I just drew two that for whatever reason were jumping off my shelves at me a little bit more than others, and they are both YA fantasy. First up, we have Once Upon a Broken Heart by Stephanie Garber. And it's shocking to me that I have not read this yet because I read the Caraval trilogy way back in like early 2022 when I was first getting back into reading and really enjoyed it, and I hear everyone say that this trilogy is even better, so I don't know why I've never got around to picking it up yet, but I think I will love it, so I feel like this might be the time I need to get into it. But at the same time, my other option for this prompt is An Ember in the Ashes. I will say, I don't think this is like an extremely popular series. I mean, it's well known and I've seen it on Book Talk, but I feel like maybe it's an underhyped series. But the people that are fans of this are like obsessed, ride or die with this series. So I've been wanting to get into it just to see what it's all about and why people do love it so much. But I think I'm gonna go with Once Upon a Broken Heart for 2 reasons. One, because I just think about how I need to get to this series very frequently, and 2, this one is a fantasy romance. I don't know if this one's a romance, but I know for sure that this one is. And again, since it's February and there's love in the air and Valentine's Day is coming up, I am just like leaning more towards this one because that's the reading mood I'm in. But comment below if you've read this book or this series and what you thought of it. no spoilers, I just need like motivation to pick this up soon. And then the very last prompt I'm choosing for is a book that has a great first sentence. And like I said earlier, I was really glad to get this prompt because I feel like I could just choose books I'm already interested in and see which one has the better first sentence. So I drew 2 books, but for 2 completely different reasons. First, I grabbed Dark Matter. This is a sci-fi standalone that I have had on my TBR multiple times since I bought it, and I am really excited to get to it. But the reason I pulled it for this prompt is because I've heard crazy things about this book, and I feel like knowing what it's about, this one potentially would have a very hooking, engaging, potentially even shocking first sentence. So I definitely think this is going to be a contender. And then the other one I pulled is Flawless by Elsie Silver, and I pulled this simply because I really want to get to this series soon, but especially I feel like this is so fitting for February Valentine's Day vibes. This is a small town cowboy romance. It's actually a whole series, and this is also on my list of 25 books to read in 2025. So starting with the first sentence of Dark Matter, it says, I love Thursday nights. I'm kind of let down by that first sentence. I was expecting it to give me more. I love Thursday nights, that's it? That's how it starts? Okay, I'm kind of bummed. Like I said, I really thought this one would have at least somewhat of an engaging first sentence, but let's see what the first sentence in Flawless is, because maybe it will be more boring than I love Thursday nights. The first sentence in Flawless is, you've got one angry mother here eating. Okay, yeah, so this is obviously the better first sentence, and I'm gonna have to go with Flawless, which I'm very happy about because, like I said, I was hoping to get to this very soon, but I am very surprised that a contemporary romance had a more hooking first sentence than a thrilling sci-fi book. So Flawless is the last book we'll be adding to the list. To quickly recap all the books on my February 2025 TBR, we have Flawless by Elsie Silver, an adult contemporary romance, a cowboy romance. I'm super excited for this one. Once Upon a Broken Heart by Stephanie Garber. This is a spin-off of the Caraval trilogy. It's a YA fantasy romance. A Dawn of Onyx by Kate Golden. This is an adult fantasy romance. The Boyfriend by Frida McFadden. This is an adult thriller. Baggage Claim by Juliana Smith. This is a wintry adult contemporary romance, maybe like a rom-com vibe. I'm not 100% sure. Oh, and before I forget, I am also going to be reading the book my dad picks. Again, still waiting for him to text me back and tell me the official name of it, but I will put a picture of it up here somewhere so that you guys know what I'm talking about. So we have a really good lineup of books here, and honestly a pretty good spread of different genres. Like I always say, there's a very good chance I will not actually read all 6 of these because I am a mood reader, and sometimes the books I pick at the beginning of the month don't end up sounding like what I want to read as the month goes, but I am going to be prioritizing these 6. I probably just will be picking up some others as well, but be sure to stay tuned for the end of the month when I'm going to wrap up all the books I read in February so that you guys can hear all my thoughts about them. As always, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe if you want to see more videos like this in the future, and if you want to go ahead and see more of my content now, you can check out the other videos that are currently posted on this channel, and I have my Instagram, TikTok, Goodreads, and Lemonade linked in the description below if you want to follow me over there and check out my content on other platforms. As always, thank you guys so much for watching, and that's all for now. Bye guys!